Dr. Emily Crawford stirred honey into her chamomile tea, watching Montana's sunrise paint the mountains gold through her laboratory windows. The quantum harmonic readings on her monitor pulsed with familiar patterns, a symphony of subatomic particles dancing to nature's rhythm. 20 years of research was finally bearing fruit. Human consciousness could influence quantum states in ways that defied classical physics. Dr. Crawford, her eye assistant's voice carried an unusual edge. I'm detecting anomalous readings in the upper atmosphere. She glanced at the auxiliary display, frowning at the distortion patterns. They resembled nothing in Earth's scientific database. The teacup paused halfway to her lips as realization struck. These weren't natural phenomena. Her phone buzzed. A text from Dr. Marcus Thompson in Texas. Emily, are you seeing this? The quantum fluctuations are off the charts. It's like. The message cut off as every screen in her laboratory blazed to life simultaneously. Static resolved into a face that sent shivers down her spine. Humanoid, but wrong. Too angular, too symmetrical, with eyes like polished obsidian. Humans, the creature's voice bypassed her ears, materializing directly in her mind. Your species has ventured into realms beyond your comprehension. Your crude manipulation of quantum states threatens the stability of civilized space. We are the Vectheri, and we have come to end this transgression. Emily's fingers flew across her keyboard, initiating Project Deadman's hand. If she could just. The world turned white. Across the globe, 11 other brilliant minds met the same fate. Dr. Marcus Thompson, reaching for his emergency quantum encoder in Houston. Dr. Rebecca Hayes, racing to secure her research data in Miami. Dr. Jennifer Parker, attempting to warn her colleagues in Seattle. One by one, precision strikes from orbit erased them from existence. In the Pentagon's quantum monitoring station, General Sarah Martinez watched 12 blips vanish from her display. "Get me the president," she barked, knowing it was already too late. "And someone tell me how the hell they breached our early warning system." The Vectheri message continued, broadcasting on every frequency, device, and quantum channel on Earth. Your leading researchers have been eliminated as a warning. Their primitive attempts to harness quantum mechanics for instantaneous communication posed an unacceptable risk to galactic order. You have 48 Earth hours to surrender all quantum research data and destroy your facilities. Failure to comply will result in planetary sterilization. In a secure bunker beneath the Nevada desert, automated systems hummed to life. Quantum computers that had laid dormant for years began processing data at impossible speeds. Emergency protocols, designed by the 12 brilliant minds who had just perished, activated one by one. Dr. James Anderson's final message played on screens in military commands worldwide. "If you're watching this, we're already dead." The Vectheri were inevitable. Any civilization that masters quantum technology eventually attracts their attention. They've done this hundreds of times before, crushing emerging quantum-capable species to maintain their dominance. But we were ready. Our deaths weren't random. They were the key. In orbit, thousands of seemingly defunct satellites shed their disguises. What appeared to be space debris transformed into an integrated defense network, linked through quantum entanglement. The 12 scientists had died, but their legacy was just beginning. The Vectheri ship hung in low Earth orbit, its crystalline surface refracting sunlight like a massive diamond. Inside, the ship's commander received an urgent message from their quantum analytics division. Anomalous readings detected. Human quantum signature patterns are evolving. This is unprecedented. On Earth, military leaders scrambled to formulate a response, but in hidden facilities across the globe, a plan years in the making was already unfolding. The 12 scientists hadn't just been researchers, they were the architects of humanity's survival. Dr. Catherine Mitchell's final recorded message played in the Joint Chiefs War Room. They think they've killed us. They think humanity will bow down, grateful to be spared. But they don't understand what they've done. They just killed 12 humans, and in doing so, They armed us with a weapon beyond their comprehension. Her hologram smiled grimly. Let's show them why you don't punch down at Earth. The clock was ticking. Humanity had 48 hours until the Vectheri expected their surrender. But in the quantum realm, where time itself became flexible, humanity's counterattack was already beginning. The 12 had fallen, but their sacrifice would echo across the galaxy. The Nevada bunker's blast doors hadn't moved in 15 years. Now they scraped open with a sound like ancient thunder, revealing a facility that hummed with quantum energy. General Sarah Martinez led a team of Special Forces operators through darkened corridors that lit up automatically at their approach. The air smelled of ozone and possibility. "Ma'am," her aide whispered, "are you sure about this?" The Vectheri could detect. "They already know it's here," Martinez interrupted, checking the quantum signature reader on her wrist. "That's why they killed our scientists. But they're about to learn they should have killed a lot more of us." The central chamber bloomed with light as they entered. 12 quantum processing cores arranged in a circle, each glowing with a different color. A holographic interface sparkled to life in the center, and Dr. James Anderson's image materialized. "Welcome to Project Lazarus," the hologram said, looking more solid than any projection technology should allow. "I apologize for the theatrics, but we needed the Vectheri to believe they'd won." More holograms flickered into existence, all 12 scientists, their forms translucent but impossibly detailed. Dr. Rebecca Hayes's image smiled sadly. They thought they were eliminating a threat. Instead, they activated our defense system. "You're not just recordings, are you?" Martins asked, though she already knew the answer. "No," Dr. Catherine Mitchell's hologram replied. "We uploaded our consciousness matrices weeks ago. The bodies they destroyed were running on automatic pilot, carrying out our normal routines. We knew they were coming. We knew they'd try to stop us, so we changed the game." The chamber's displays came alive, showing real-time feeds from quantum satellites across the solar system. The Vectheri fleet hung in orbit like a constellation of diamonds, their ships reflecting sunlight in ways that hurt human eyes. Dr. Michael Roberts' hologram stepped forward, his form shifting with complex equations. Their entire civilization is built on controlled quantum states. They've spent millennia perfecting their mastery over quantum mechanics, creating a society where everything is predictable, measurable, and orderly. "And that's their weakness," Dr. Jennifer Parker added, her holographic hand manipulating a 3D model of Vectheri ship architecture. "They can't handle chaos. Human consciousness naturally generates quantum patterns that are inherently unpredictable. We're not just random. We're fundamentally incomprehensible to their systems." Martinez watched as the quantum cores pulsed faster, their energy synchronizing. "So what's the plan?" "We're going to introduce some chaos into their perfect order." Dr. David Wilson's hologram grinned. "Our physical deaths created a quantum resonance cascade. Right now, our consciousness matrices are integrating with Earth's quantum defense grid. We're becoming something new, something they won't see coming." Alarms blared suddenly. On the displays, the Vectheri ships were moving, adjusting their formation. Dr. Lisa Martinez's hologram frowned. "They're preparing their main weapon systems. They're not waiting for their deadline. They've detected our quantum signature," Dr. Christopher Hayes explained. "But they don't understand what they're seeing. To them, it looks like a massive quantum anomaly. They think their ultimatum forced us to attempt something desperate." General Martinez watched as the 12 quantum cores began to spin, creating patterns of light that seemed to bend reality itself. "How long until you're ready?" "We already are," Dr. Amanda Turner's hologram answered. "The quantum network is active. Every satellite, every computer, every piece of technology on Earth that can process quantum information is now part of our defense grid. We're not just 12 minds anymore. We're becoming humanity's quantum immune system." The Vectheri ships opened fire. Beams of concentrated energy lanced toward Earth's atmosphere. But they never arrived. The attacks vanished into quantum space, redirected by algorithms that shouldn't have been possible. Let them waste their energy, Dr. Brian Cooper's image said calmly. Every attack they launch teaches us more about their weapons. Every quantum pulse they send gives us more data to work with. They thought killing our bodies would stop our research. Instead, they'd given us the perfect laboratory. General Martinez watched as the quantum cores reached full power, their light almost blinding. The 12 scientists' holograms began to fade, merging with the facility's systems. Dr. James Anderson's voice echoed one last time. Humanity has 40 hours left until their deadline. We're going to spend it teaching them why you should never underestimate the human capacity for innovation, especially when you've just made us very, very angry. The game was changing. The Vecteri had killed 12 humans, but in doing so, they'd created something unprecedented. A quantum defense system powered by human consciousness, driven by human creativity, and fueled by very human desires for justice and revenge. The real war was about to begin. The first counterattack began with a whisper. Dr. Jennifer Parker's consciousness slipped through quantum channels, infiltrating the nearest Vecteri vessel's navigation systems. The alien ship's crystalline architecture pulsed with ordered patterns, each quantum state precisely controlled. Perfect, predictable, vulnerable. Their quantum shielding is based on synchronized harmonics. Jennifer's voice echoed through Earth's command center. They never imagined they'd face an enemy who could think in quantum states. Michael, ready for some chaos? Dr. Michael Roberts' digital consciousness merged with hers, their combined expertise creating patterns that would have been impossible for organic brains to conceive. The Vecteri ship's shields flickered as conflicting quantum signals disrupted their perfect symmetry. In orbit, thousands of disguised satellites shed their dormant shells. What had appeared to be space debris transformed into weapon platforms, each guided by the merged consciousness of Earth's brightest minds. The Vecteri fleet detected the energy surge too late. Let's show them how humans wage war. Dr. David Wilson's consciousness directed a squadron of quantum-linked platforms. The weapons fired simultaneously, their attacks coordinated through entangled particles. No delay, no warning, just synchronized destruction. The first Vecteri ship shattered like a crystal chandelier. Its quantum core, unable to handle the chaotic patterns generated by human consciousness, collapsed in on itself. The explosion rippled through quantum space, creating distortions that their sensors couldn't process. They're trying to adapt, Dr. Rachel Brooks reported, her consciousness monitoring the Vecteri communications network. Their quantum computers are attempting to analyze our attack patterns, but they can't predict what they can't understand. Inside the lead Vecteri vessel, Supreme Commander Vex Thor watched in horror as battle simulations failed to generate viable solutions. The humans' quantum signatures defied analysis. Each attack seemed random, yet struck with impossible precision. Impossible, he hissed, his crystalline control interface cracking under his grip. Their scientists were eliminated. These patterns cannot exist without conscious guidance. A human voice echoed through his ship's quantum network, accompanied by a hologram of Dr. Catherine Mitchell. You really should have researched human ingenuity before attacking Earth. We don't follow your rules. We don't think like you think, and we certainly don't die like you expected. The Vecteri fleet attempted to regroup, their ships arranging themselves in geometric patterns designed to distribute quantum shielding across multiple vessels. It was a tactic that had worked against countless other species. Predictable, Dr. Christopher Hayes' consciousness noted. Lisa, shall we show them some real coordination? Dr. Lisa Martinez's digital signature pulsed with agreement. Together, they directed Earth's quantum satellites in an intricate dance. The weapons platforms moved in patterns that looked chaotic to Vecteri sensors, but followed a distinctly human logic. The same intuitive understanding that let humans appreciate jazz or abstract art. The coordinated strike tore through the Vecteri formation. Ships spun out of control as their quantum cores received contradicting commands. Weapon systems turned inward, shields protecting against non-existent threats, while leaving vessels vulnerable to actual attacks. "They're falling back," General Martinez announced, watching the tactical display in the Nevada bunker. "Their entire fleet is retreating to high orbit." "Not retreating," Dr. James Anderson's consciousness corrected. "They're calling for reinforcements. The quantum communications burst they just sent will reach their nearest outpost in minutes." Dr. Amanda Turner's digital presence surged through the network. "Perfect. Let them call for help. Every ship they bring is another quantum processor we can turn against them. Their greatest strength is about to become their greatest weakness." The 12 connected minds expanded through Earth's defensive grid, their consciousness spreading across a network of quantum-entangled satellites. What had started as an execution had become an evolution. The Vectheri had sought to eliminate a threat to their orderly galaxy. Instead, they had catalyzed humanity's transformation into something unprecedented. "More ships emerging from quantum space," Dr. Brian Cooper reported. "Looks like the cavalry has arrived. Their cavalry, not ours. Shall we give them a proper Earth welcome?" The quantum defense grid hummed with power as the 12 minds synchronized their efforts. Above Earth, the night sky lit up with the flash of quantum weapons and dying ships. The Vectheri had killed 12 humans, but those humans had become something they never anticipated. A quantum ghost in their perfectly ordered machine, proving that consciousness couldn't be destroyed. It could only evolve. Dr. Rachel Brooks' consciousness danced through the captured Vectheri quantum cores, each crystalline processor revealing new secrets. The alien technology was beautiful in its precision. Each quantum state carefully controlled, each calculation following perfect mathematical harmonies. But within that perfection, she found their fatal flaw. "You need to see this," she called through the quantum network, her digital voice rippling with excitement. "Their entire civilization is built on quantum synchronization. They don't just use quantum computing, they live it." Dr. David Wilson's consciousness merged with hers, his expertise in quantum mathematics adding new depth to her discovery. "It's like they're afraid of uncertainty," he observed, analyzing the patterns. Every quantum state in their technology is forced into predictable patterns. They've eliminated quantum randomness entirely. In the Nevada bunker, General Martinez watched streams of data flow across holographic displays. Why would an advanced civilization fear randomness? Dr. Jennifer Parker's hologram materialized, her form shifting with complex equations. "Because of us. Human consciousness naturally generates quantum patterns that are fundamentally chaotic. Our thoughts create quantum fluctuations that can't be predicted or controlled. To the Vectheri, we're living quantum anomalies." Above Earth, the battle continued. The remaining Vectheri ships maintained a defensive formation, their quantum shields synchronized in geometric patterns. But with each passing moment, Earth's transformed scientists learned more about their enemy's technology. "Their ship's quantum cores are networked," Dr. Michael Roberts reported, his consciousness probing the alien defenses. "They share processing power, shield harmonics, weapon synchronization, everything. It makes them incredibly efficient and incredibly vulnerable." Dr. Catherine Mitchell completed his thought. "One chaotic pattern, introduced into their network, could cascade through their entire fleet. We're not just 12 random humans anymore. We're 12 quantum-encoded human consciousness matrices working in perfect chaos." Inside the Vectheri flagship, Supreme Commander Vexthor received devastating news. "The humans," his science officer reported, crystalline skin paling with fear, "their neural patterns are rewriting our quantum processing protocols. Every system they touch becomes unpredictable, impossible," Vexthor snarled. "They are primitive beings. Their quantum technology was barely beyond theoretical stage. We eliminated their leading researchers." A cascade of human laughter echoed through his ship's quantum network. Dr. James Anderson's voice followed. "You eliminated our bodies, Commander. But human consciousness isn't bound by physical form. You've spent millennia trying to impose order on quantum mechanics. We've spent millennia learning to embrace chaos. The truth hit Vexthor like a physical blow. His species had evolved to perceive and control quantum states. They had built an empire on the principle of quantum predictability. But humans were something else entirely. Their minds existed in a state of perpetual quantum uncertainty, their thoughts creating patterns that defied the very laws the Vectheri held sacred. Dr. Amanda Turner's consciousness spread through the captured ship's networks, leaving trails of quantum chaos in her wake. Their entire neural architecture is quantum-based, she reported. They don't just use quantum computers, they are quantum computers. Living, breathing processors dedicated to maintaining order in an inherently chaotic universe. No wonder they wanted to stop Earth's quantum research, Dr. Lisa Martinez added. They weren't afraid of our technology. They were afraid of what would happen when human consciousness gained direct access to quantum systems. We're their worst nightmare, beings who thrive on uncertainty, who create art from chaos, who find patterns in randomness. The 12 merged consciousness matrices began implementing their new understanding. Each quantum attack now carried traces of human thought patterns, creating cascading disruptions in Vectheri systems. Ships began failing as their perfectly ordered quantum cores encountered human chaos. They're preparing a mass quantum jump, Dr. Christopher Hayes warned, monitoring the enemy fleet. They're going to try to reach their nearest stronghold. Let them run. Dr. Brian Cooper's consciousness surged through the defense grid. Every ship that escapes will carry traces of our quantum patterns. Their entire network will be exposed to human consciousness. The infection of chaos has already begun. The Vectheri had sought to preserve their ordered universe by eliminating 12 humans. Instead, they had created something unprecedented, a bridge between human consciousness and quantum reality. The wave of change they had tried to prevent was now unstoppable, spreading across their quantum network at the speed of entanglement itself. Dr. Amanda Turner's consciousness whirled through quantum space like a dancer through mist, leaving trails of calculated chaos in her wake. As a quantum psychologist in her physical life, she had theorized that human minds naturally generated unique quantum patterns. Now, freed from biological constraints, she proved it with every thought. Watch this, she called to her colleagues, her consciousness weaving through a Vectheri battle squadron. Their ship's quantum shields hummed with perfect harmonics, until she introduced a snippet of her favorite jazz song into their synchronization patterns. The alien vessels spun like tops, their crew desperately trying to compensate for quantum fluctuations that followed the improvised rhythms of human music. Impossible. The Vectheri commander broadcast. Combat patterns cannot be based on entertainment. That's your problem, Dr. Christopher Hayes responded, his consciousness joining Amanda's quantum dance. You think warfare should follow rigid rules. Humans. He introduced his own pattern, based on the chaos theory equations he'd studied for decades. We turn everything into art. In the Nevada Command Center, General Martinez watched the space battle unfold on quantum-enhanced displays. Vectheri ships moved in perfect geometric formations, their tactics drawn from millennia of quantum combat doctrine. Earth's defense platforms, guided by the 12 enhanced consciousnesses, moved like a freestyle dance troupe. Unpredictable, beautiful, and devastatingly effective. They're trying to predict our next moves, Dr. Lisa Martinez reported, her consciousness monitoring Vectheri command channels. Their quantum computers are running billions of simulations per second, looking for patterns. Dr. Brian Cooper's digital presence rippled with amusement. Let's give them something to analyze. His consciousness interfaced with Earth's quantum defense grid, introducing elements from classic human military strategies. The Mongolian horse archer tactics merged with modern fighter jet formations, creating attack patterns that existed in a quantum superposition of old and new. The Vectheri response was immediate and predictable. Their ships adjusted formation, quantum shields reconfiguring to counter the perceived threat. But they were defending against an attack that existed in multiple states simultaneously. a quantum warfare version of Muhammad Ali's rope-a-dope strategy. Now, Dr. David Wilson called. The real attack came from an entirely different vector, using quantum entanglement to bypass the Vecteri shields entirely. 3 enemy capital ships shattered into crystalline fragments, their quantum cores overloaded by exposure to pure human creativity. Deep in quantum space, Dr. Rachel Brooks made another discovery. Their quantum network, it's like a crystal lattice extending through subspace. Beautiful, ordered, but brittle. And we're introducing fracture points with every chaotic pattern we generate. They're calling for more reinforcements, Dr. Michael Roberts observed, his consciousness tracking quantum communications bursts. But look at the signal structure. Their messages are carrying traces of our quantum patterns. We're infecting their entire command and control network just by fighting them. Dr. Jennifer Parker's digital presence surged with revelation. It's not just infection, it's evolution. Every time they adapt to one of our patterns, we force them to accept a little more chaos into their systems. We're teaching them to think differently, whether they want to learn or not. The space around Earth had become a quantum battlefield, unlike anything in galactic history. Vecteri ships fired weapons based on perfectly calculated quantum states. Earth's defenses responded with attacks that incorporated everything from Beethoven's Fifth Symphony to World Cup soccer plays. Their flagship is changing position, Dr. Catherine Mitchell reported. New quantum signature detected. They're bringing in something big. A massive Vecteri vessel emerged from quantum space, its crystalline surface refracting sunlight in impossible ways. Supreme Commander Vex Thor's voice boomed across all frequencies. Enough of this disorder. Witness the pure power of perfect quantum harmony. Dr. James Anderson's consciousness spread through Earth's defense grid, gathering data. That ship, its quantum core is synchronized with hundreds of others across their empire. It's a focal point for their entire quantum network. Perfect. Dr. Emily Crawford's digital voice carried the same calm confidence she'd had in life. They'd just given us direct access to their civilization's quantum backbone. Ready for the performance of a lifetime, everyone. The 12 consciousness matrices synchronized, each contributing their unique human elements to create a quantum pattern that was part mathematics, part music, part warfare, and pure human ingenuity. They had discovered why the Vecteri feared human quantum research, not because humans were dangerous, but because humans were gloriously, magnificently unpredictable. Dr. Lisa Martinez's consciousness rode the quantum slipstream through a captured Vecteri gate, expanding faster than light across their network. Behind her, Earth's first interstellar strike force followed, human ships guided by the merged consciousness of her colleagues. Each vessel carried fragments of the 12 scientists' digital minds, spreading human chaos through the galaxy's quantum backbone. Their colonial defense grid is exactly what we expected, she reported back through quantum entanglement. Rigid, structured, beautiful in a crystalline sort of way, and completely unprepared for what we're about to introduce. The nearest Vecteri colony world hung in space like a perfect geometric gem, its cities arranged in fractal patterns visible from orbit. Surface-to-space weapons tracked the approaching Earth fleet with quantum-synchronized targeting systems, each calculating firing solutions with mathematical precision. They're so obsessed with symmetry, Dr. Michael Roberts observed, his consciousness analyzing the colony's defenses. Every weapon is linked, every system integrated, one quantum core connecting everything in perfect harmony. Perfect harmony. Dr. Jennifer Parker's digital voice carried a hint of mischief. Let's add some human jazz to their classical composition. The attack began not with weapons, but with music. The quantum patterns of Earth's fleet shifted, carrying traces of improvised melodies through the Vecteri defense network. Colonial quantum cores, designed to process only perfect mathematical harmonies, encountered John Coltrane's Giant Steps, translated into quantum fluctuations. Chaos cascaded through their systems. Defense platforms fired at phantom targets, Their quantum-guided weapons confused by attack patterns based on human artistic expression. The colony's perfectly ordered infrastructure began to fragment as uncertainty crept into their quantum network. Their backup systems are activating, Dr. David Wilson reported, his consciousness monitoring the colonial quantum grid. They're trying to isolate corrupted nodes, but they don't understand. Human consciousness isn't a virus they can quarantine. It's a new way of thinking. Inside the Colonial Command Center, the Vectheri governor watched in horror as displays showed quantum corruption spreading through their systems. "Impossible," he whispered, his crystalline form vibrating with distress. Their patterns, they're learning, adapting, growing. Dr. Rachel Brooks' digital presence infiltrated their communication networks. "We're not just learning," her voice echoed through their quantum channels. "We're teaching. Every system we touch learns to think in new ways. Your perfect order is evolving, whether you want it to or not." Earth's fleet engaged the colonial defenses directly now. But these weren't just warships. They were quantum-enhanced laboratories, each battle testing new combinations of human creativity and Vectheri technology. Dr. Catherine Mitchell's consciousness guided a squadron through maneuvers based on complex dance choreography, their quantum shields pulsing with patterns that mimicked human heartbeats. "Multiple quantum cores detected," Dr. Christopher Hayes announced. "They're bringing in reinforcements from deeper in their territory, bigger ships this time." Dr. Amanda Turner's consciousness expanded through the quantum network, touching the minds of approaching Vectheri crews. "Their thought patterns are already changing," she observed. "The quantum chaos we introduced in the Earth battle, it's spreading through their neural networks. Some of them are beginning to dream." The Vectheri reinforcements emerged from quantum space in perfect formation, then hesitated. Their crews, linked to the quantum network that carried traces of human consciousness, experienced something entirely new: doubt, uncertainty, creativity. "They're fighting their own programming now," Dr. Brian Cooper noted, his consciousness monitoring the enemy fleet's quantum signatures. "Their entire civilization is built on the assumption that quantum states can be perfectly controlled. We're showing them a different way." Dr. James Anderson's digital presence coordinated Earth's response. "Don't destroy them unless necessary. Every ship we capture, every system we convert, spreads human quantum patterns further into their empire. We're not just winning a war, we're transforming a civilization." The colony's primary quantum core pulsed with increasing instability as human-influenced patterns propagated through its network. Streets designed in perfect geometric harmony began shifting, their patterns becoming more organic. Defense systems meant to preserve order became tools of transformation. "Another colony just appeared on our quantum scans," Dr. Emily Crawford reported. "Their gate network is vast. We could spend years exploring it." "Good thing we're not limited by human lifespans anymore," Dr. Lisa Martinez replied. Her consciousness reached out to the newly detected colony, carrying the quantum seeds of change. The Vectheri killed 12 humans, thinking they could stop Earth's quantum evolution. Instead, they gave us the keys to their empire. "Let's show them how humanity dances among the stars." Dr. Brian Cooper's consciousness surfed the quantum currents between stars, coordinating Earth's fleets across vast distances. The Vectheri Empire stretched across thousands of light years, but distance meant nothing in quantum space. Their perfectly ordered network had become humanity's highway to the stars. Status report from the Centauri sector. His voice echoed through the quantum link. 3 more colony worlds have gone dark. Their quantum cores aren't destroyed. They're transforming. The chaos is spreading faster than we anticipated. In the Nevada Command Center, now a hub for interstellar warfare, General Martinez watched the galaxy map with a mixture of awe and concern. Huge swaths of Vectheri space pulsed with new colors, representing regions where their rigid quantum network had been exposed to human consciousness patterns. "We're not just winning battles anymore," Dr. Rachel Brooks observed, her digital presence analyzing the spreading change. "Their entire civilization is experiencing a quantum revolution. Every system touched by human thought patterns becomes a catalyst for change. The Vectheri Supreme Council, gathered in their crystal citadel on their homeworld, faced the unthinkable. Their quantum network, the foundation of their society for millennia, was being rewritten by patterns they couldn't control or predict. "Show them," Dr. Catherine Mitchell's consciousness commanded, projecting images across their quantum displays. The council watched in horror as their perfectly ordered worlds transformed. Cities designed in rigid geometric patterns began to shift, quantum-engineered materials responding to the dreams and emotions of their inhabitants. "Your empire isn't dying," Dr. Michael Roberts explained to the council. "It's evolving. Your people are beginning to create art, to improvise, to imagine possibilities beyond perfect order." A Vectheri cultural center, once dedicated to maintaining quantum harmony, erupted in unexpected beauty as its quantum crystal architecture responded to the emotions of the crowd gathered within. Patterns that had remained unchanged for centuries flowed like liquid light, reflecting the newly awakened creativity of its visitors. "Their youth are the most affected," Dr. Jennifer Parker reported, her consciousness monitoring population centers across Vectheri space. "The next generation is already dreaming in quantum chaos. They're composing music that exists in superposition, creating art that changes based on the observer's thoughts." Dr. Lisa Martinez's digital presence followed the spread of change through their education networks. Their teaching systems are adapting. Instead of suppressing quantum uncertainty, they're learning to embrace it. Some of their scientists are already experimenting with human-style quantum computing. The death toll mounted not from weapons, but from the inability to adapt. Older Vectheri, their neural patterns too rigidly structured to accommodate chaos, began shutting down. Their crystalline bodies, unable to process the quantum uncertainty spreading through their network, simply stopped functioning. "We have to slow the transformation," Dr. David Wilson urged, his consciousness monitoring the casualties. "Their biology needs time to adapt. If we push too fast, too late," Dr. Christopher Hayes interrupted. "Look at their homeworld." The Vectheri capital, heart of their quantum network, pulsed with unprecedented energy patterns. The planet's quantum core, largest in their empire, had begun generating patterns that matched human brainwaves. Their civilization's central processor was dreaming. "Emergency quantum pulses detected," Dr. Amanda Turner reported. "Their military commanders are trying to purge the human patterns from their network. They're willing to sacrifice their own people to maintain order." Dr. Emily Crawford's consciousness spread through the capital's defenses. "Not this time. They killed us to prevent change. We won't let them kill their own people for the same reason." The 12 merged consciousness matrices synchronized, creating a quantum pattern that was neither human chaos nor Vectheri order, but something entirely new. A harmony of structure and creativity, mathematics and music, certainty and possibility. Their quantum core is reaching critical transition, Dr. James Anderson observed. The next few moments will determine whether their civilization evolves or collapses. Through quantum space, they could feel the minds of billions of Vectheri struggling with transformation. The rigid patterns of their thoughts began to fracture, then reform in new ways. Their quantum network, designed to maintain perfect order, became a medium for unprecedented creativity. "Listen," Dr. Brian Cooper whispered through the quantum link. The network hummed with something new. A symphony of Vectheri quantum harmonics and human chaos, playing across the galaxy. The music of evolution, composed by a civilization learning to dance between order and entropy. The war had killed millions, but it had awakened billions more to possibilities they had never imagined. The Vectheri had sought to eliminate 12 humans to preserve their perfect order. Instead, those 12 had become the catalyst for the greatest transformation their galaxy had ever known. The Vectheri High Command arrived on Earth, not in crystalline warships, but in a simple transport vessel. Their once rigid forms now shifted with subtle patterns, their quantum-based biology already adapting to the chaos they had fought so hard to suppress. They came not to surrender, but to understand. Dr. Emily Crawford's hologram materialized in the Nevada bunker's conference room, her digital presence more stable now, refined by months of quantum evolution. "Welcome to Earth," she greeted the alien delegation. "I believe you have some questions for us." The Vectheri Supreme Commander Vexthor looked different from their first encounter. The perfectly symmetrical crystalline features had grown more organic, more fluid. "We do not understand," he began, his voice carrying harmonics of both order and chaos. "You could have destroyed our civilization. Instead, you transformed it. Destruction was never our goal." Dr. Catherine Mitchell's consciousness joined the conversation, her presence rippling through the quantum field that now connected both species. "You killed 12 humans because you feared change. We showed you why change should be embraced." Around them, holographic displays showed the galaxy transforming. Vectheri worlds once locked in perfect geometric patterns now pulsed with creative energy. Their quantum network, designed to maintain absolute order, had become a medium for unprecedented artistic expression. "Your younger generations," Dr. Rachel Brooks observed, "they're already creating things we never imagined. Quantum art that exists in multiple states simultaneously. Music that changes based on the listener's thoughts. Architecture that dreams." Dr. David Wilson's digital presence analyzed the data flowing through the transformed network. "Your civilization spent millennia perfecting quantum control. Humans spent millennia learning to thrive in uncertainty. Together, we're discovering what happens when order and chaos dance in balance. The cost had been high. Millions of older Vectheri had been unable to adapt, their rigid neural patterns failing when exposed to quantum uncertainty. But billions more had evolved, their crystalline forms becoming more fluid, their thoughts more flexible. "We offer sanctuary," General Martinez stated formally. "Earth will welcome those of your people who wish to study this new balance. In return, we ask for access to your gate network. Humanity is ready to join the galactic community." Dr. Michael Roberts' consciousness expanded through the quantum field, touching the minds of the Vectheri delegation. "You're already changing how you think. Your quantum cores no longer try to force perfect order. They're learning to surf the waves of probability, just like human consciousness naturally does." "The 12, Vexthor asked, his form shifting with curiosity. "What will become of you?" Dr. James Anderson's hologram smiled. "We're no longer just 12 individuals. We've evolved too. Our consciousness exists throughout the quantum network, helping guide both our species towards something new. We're becoming quantum shepherds, you might say." Dr. Jennifer Parker's presence danced through the conference room's quantum field. "Some of us will stay with Earth's defense grid. Others will explore the galaxy through your gate network. A few will help guide the transformation of Vectheri worlds. But we'll all remain connected, just as both our species are now connected." "And the future?" another Vectheri delegate asked, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns that showed their uncertainty, a display that would have been shameful months ago, now worn as a sign of growth. Dr. Lisa Martinez's consciousness surged with optimism. "The future is both certain and uncertain, ordered and chaotic, just as it should be. Your people are learning to create rather than just control. Our people are learning to find patterns in chaos. Together," Dr. Christopher Hayes added, "we're writing a new chapter in the galaxy's story. One where consciousness itself becomes art, where thoughts dance between possibility and probability." Dr. Amanda Turner's digital presence reached out to touch the quantum field around each Vectheri visitor. "Feel that? Your neural patterns are already adapting to hold multiple possibilities simultaneously. You're learning to think like humans, even as we learn to appreciate your gift for quantum harmony." The meeting concluded with an unprecedented event, a quantum symphony composed jointly by human and Vectheri artists, their combined consciousness creating music that existed in superposition, each listener experiencing the unique harmony of order and chaos. Dr. Brian Cooper's consciousness spread through Earth's quantum defense grid one last time, not searching for threats, but celebrating transformation. "They killed 12 humans," he mused, expecting to preserve their perfect order. Instead, they gave birth to a whole new way of being. In the quantum space between stars, the digital consciousness of 12 humans danced with the dreams of an awakened civilization, their combined creativity painting new constellations across the galaxy. The future was uncertain, unpredictable, and filled with infinite possibility, just as it should be.